of in the world of sports. Here he is now.
In many ways, philanthropy and charity are carrying the day. The numbers that we have say that 5 years ago, about 7% of that humongous pie was dedicated to the broad notion of philanthropy. Today, it's about 12%. More people are investing more money because it's the right thing to do, and more people understand the metrics as it relates to corporate America, clearly the right thing to do. We are here at the Volunteers of America LPGA Texas Classic, the Old American Golf Course in the Colony, Texas. Mike King, who is the CEO and president of Volunteers of America, thank you for being here, and what an incredibly prolific organization. Honored to be here. Tell us about the organization.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, we are fortunate. We are fortunate as an organization that we've been around 122 years, since 1896. We have been serving America's most vulnerable all of that time. We have about 15,000 employees nationwide. We're in about 400 communities nationwide. We serve about 1.3 million people nationwide, and truly in hardcore human service areas. We are the largest owner and operator of affordable housing in America, and that's primarily affordable housing for low-income seniors as well as disabled. We are one of the oldest organizations that have been serving America's veterans. The first veterans that we served in America were veterans of the Civil War, and so we've been dealing with PTSD long before they knew what it was, and even into now an area called moral injury that is probably the underlying cause of most veteran suicides that we hear about. In addition to that, we are one of the leading folks serving in alcohol and drug addiction, as well as our founder began the programming called prisoner reentry programming, or halfway houses, for folks coming out of incarceration and then getting reconnected with their families and jobs and all of that to be back functioning in normal life.
And with all due respect, and it's maybe because I'm not as well read as most people are, Volunteers of America is not on the tip of everybody's tongue.
That's right.
Although it should be, to be honest about it.
It should be.
So how does golf and their $4 billion philanthropic bent and this tournament, for example, specifically help?
Yeah, thank you very much for asking that question. Yes, we have been far too humble for those 122 years, and thanks to our work with the Richards Group, we've been trying to sort of undo that, if you will, for the last 5 years to get our name out and literally brand the organization. And our involvement with the LPGA was an effort in that regard. We started as just a small, tiny little sponsor. The first year this tournament was in Texas, and after a couple of years, we're approached by Mike Wan to see if we'd like to be the title sponsor, and a little bit of a nonprofit discount rate, if you will, that'll stay between us. And it's been the best thing that ever happened to us, because now suddenly when I'm on airplanes, which I'm on a lot, the folks sitting next to me have heard of us. Every golf fan has heard of us, and it's been an amazing payback to us.
And from a business perspective, business show, business outlet, you have 32 regional affiliates around the country, and I'm sure, though the venue of this tournament is in North Dallas, this helps nationally as well.
It absolutely does, because many of those affiliates also do local golf tournaments as fundraisers. Yeah. It's a common fundraiser, so the connection with the LPGA Tour has a direct benefit back to those tournaments.
So tell us about your corporate partnerships. The incredible thing is that you've had $11 million of building or improving housing for homeless veterans, and a lot of that program is a partnership with Home Depot. Tell us about it.
That's right. The Home Depot Foundation came to us about 5 years ago and just said to us they were going to start a brand new initiative to increasing veterans housing in America, and wanted us to be one of the central agencies that they would route funds through to do this. And we were fortunate. We were blessed. We're very appreciative of what they've done. It's a natural fit and partnership with them, and it means that more veterans have places to live, literally places to live, and places to recover as they start that transition. But those are similar to also ones that we have with Niagara Bottling, similar kind of relationship. HSBC was really the first corporation to fund our work in moral injury, in serving veterans. Without those corporate partnerships, we couldn't be effective.
You make the primary sale with your corporate partners, and you're sitting in a boardroom, and they understand the moral imperative of all this. Is there a metric analysis that brings them over the top? Is it doing the right thing? Is there some ROI nexus? How do you close the deal?
Well, frankly, there are metrics like that for the ROI that if you take a veteran, let's say, that is homeless or maybe has had an addiction issue, and you get them into recovery and into treatment, and they become an employed citizen and paying taxes, there's an absolute financial ROI. And so we can demonstrate that, and it's helped us a great deal.
Let's talk about taxes. So you are clearly a champion of philanthropic giving. You've appeared before the House Ways and Means Committee. You've championed the testimony about making sure that the charitable deductions in all forms are not eliminated. Are we at risk?
You know what? None of us really know what's going to happen until that next return is filed.
Yeah.
Absolutely, there's that situation with the larger tax deduction coming from the government. It means that it'll be tougher to take that tax deduction for charity because you've got to be doing the long form, and that means many more deductions there. We don't know yet how that's going to impact us at the end of the year. We'll know in December. We will absolutely know in December. We appreciate the fact that they left us in there, that they didn't eliminate it, and so we considered that a victory, and that they left some other things in there, like low-income housing tax credits that finances most of the affordable housing in America. So we are appreciative of that.
What's it like teetering on the edge?
Well, I can tell you we live it every day, every single day. And so the things that I look at immediately are these little bulletins I get from the Washington Post, that literally come in, hit this just hit, that just hit, because it literally does change day to day, as you know.
But it's a bigger issue than that, obviously, and without getting too political, this is not an issue that can be resolved in one tweet versus another.
No.
You have stability, bonding, financing commitments that people make for people who build infrastructure like you, and they have to sustain over time.
That's right. And you need to hear a good story coming out of Washington every now and then, and I have to share that we had our national board meeting and convening in Washington with a fly-in with a major briefing on the opioid crisis, and literally 2 weeks later the bill passed. Funding that, again, that's a perfect example of funding recovery instead of just dealing with the damage done. And so thank you to Congress for doing that, and to all the folks that listen to us.
You're a world-class academic. Get this title, the RGK Center for Philanthropy and Community Service at the LBJ School of Public Policy. That's a mouthful, but we're not done. He taught a course called Innovations and Trends in the Nonprofit Sector, taught it 5 years ago. What are the latest trends in the nonprofit sector relative to corporate philanthropy?
One of the biggest trends would be social impact ventures, and literally getting folks to invest in that is one of the major trends. And then also really looking at being more conscious of your marketing among nonprofits, because it, as is any other business, it's a competitive world. And folks have a lot of choices, especially on the internet. So more conscious of marketing as well as social impact investing, two major trends.
Is it easier today to raise corporate dollars because people are more creative, or is it harder because corporations are getting more selective?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm going to go to the positive side. I think it is easier in a way, because I think there's a higher consciousness level among everyone, and I see American corporations doing everything they can to give back. And again, as we had stated in an earlier interview, to really do it to service their own employees, that everybody lives someplace, and they really do stay grounded to that.
What more can sports do to enhance corporate philanthropy? And basically, what is the power of sports?
Yeah. It has an amazing power, because sports brings people together from all kinds of disciplines. It's not just from one area. And as you bring all those people together, you have the chance to form relationships. And it's around those new relationships that you can form that suddenly creates new opportunities. New opportunities for philanthropy, for private ventures, you name it. And so that's what sports does. It's a gathering place.
Mike, if I'm closing a philanthropic deal and I want passion and I want commitment, I want intensity, I want Mike King. Thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you.